Welcome back to the channel, Adventures Through Climate Change, with your host, Trevor Snyder. That is me. We're taking an armchair approach. We're sitting here watching other people's videos and reading their articles and figuring out what the heck is going on with climate change, whether CO2 is the issue or deforestation or the rising sea levels or whatever. I mean, we're looking into everything. We're trying to find some solutions, some actual real solutions, not just look at the problems. So join us, and if you feel so inclined, and by the end I've earned your subscription, tap that button. Let's get into it. Today we are talking the climate change distractions. It's confusing, casually incorrect, and diverts resources from real solutions to real problems. My contention, and look, I don't do any edits on this channel, so hang tight while I close this door. Forgot the vacuum was going, and she's got a mind of her own. And yes, I have my dog on my lap. He just is having these lonely issues. Let's go down this. Okay, look, this was done in 2017, a little outdated, but I think it holds a lot of truth. Climate change has been blamed for a dizzying array of absurd woes, from the dwindling number of customers at Bulgarian brothels to the death of the Loch Ness Monster. Yes, it has. Most of us can see through these silly headlines, but it's far harder to parse the more serious claims when they're repeated in good faith by well-meaning campaigners. And I feel like that's what is going on now. It's easier to push somebody's solution, than actually try to figure out what the heck is going on, and actually we divert resources and attention away. So we're doing one thing, worried about one thing, trying to figure out one thing, when in reality, if we divert those resources to actual measures that we can control, it might be better used. Anyways, consider the recent assertion by UNICEF's Bangladesh head of mission that climate change leads to an increase in child marriages. Between 2011 and 2020, globally, more than 140 million girls under the age of 18 will become brides, leading to curtailed education and reduced lifetime earnings, more domestic violence, more death from complications due to pregnancy, and increased mortality for the young bride's children. By all accounts, child marriage must be taken seriously. I agree. I mean, I don't know if I agree wholeheartedly, but I don't think children should be getting married and having kids. Although I think we've kind of delayed maturity in ourselves so late now that, most of us tend to have it in our 30s, have kids in our 30s and 40s, maybe not 40s, but 30s, In Bangladesh, nearly 75% of women between the age of 20 and 49 reported that they were married before they turned 18, giving 75% before 18. So that is quite a bit. Giving the country the second highest rate of child marriage in the world. As the UNICEF's head tells it, climate change has been a major cause, as warmer weather has worsened the flooding, pushing people to the cities, leading to more child marriages. But has it? This entire string of logic is wrong. Okay. The frequency of extreme floods in Bangladesh has increased. It's true, but studies show their magnitude and duration have in fact decreased. And Bangladesh is far better at adapting today than it was a generation ago. In 1974, a flood killed 29,000 people and cost 7.5% of the country's gross domestic product. A slightly larger flood in 2004 killed 761 people and cost 3.3% of GDP. Still bad, but I mean, look at the difference. I mean, that's 2004. We're a lot better at dealing with things too. Nor is UNICEF right to claim a connection between flooding and urbanization. A study published in the Journal of Biosocial Science found that living in cities doesn't increase the likelihood of child marriages in Bangladesh. Rather, it was significantly higher among rural women, which makes sense in my head. According to another study published and it's something we see over here too, in the Chinese Journal of Population Resource and Environment, the average age of marriage in cities is 16 5.15 years. That seems pretty young. I mean, I know when I was 16 years old, I was super immature. I didn't know what the heck was going on. It's probably a product of my environment. Compared to 14.0 years and 08 years in rural areas, which also makes sense. This isn't surprising. Across the world, there's a converge between low urbanization rates and higher child marriage rates. In Africa, the three worst countries for child marriage, Chad, Mali, and Niger also have the lowest levels of urbanization. Given the weak links between warming, flooding, urbanization, and the contrary link between urbanization and child marriage, climate policies would be the least effective in addressing the problem. You would think, it seems logical to me. Copenhagen consensus research shows that we need to focus instead on nutrition and education, political opportunities for girls and women, and improving women's rights to inherit and start a business. Sure, most of those things seem completely reasonable to me. A program in southern Bangladesh run by Save the Children, for example, has demonstrated the significant effects of even a modest financial incentive. The program regularly gave cooking oil to parents of unmarried girls between the ages of 15 and 17, conditional upon confirmation that the girls remained unmarried. The program found that these girls were up to 30% less likely to marry before the age of 16 and up to 22% more likely to remain in school. Each dollar spent on such conditional transfer programs does about $4 of social good. I got mixed feelings because for me, I think the meaning of life is passing on your gene and having kids. I truly feel like that. I feel like meeting your spouse, starting a family, building that family is the meaning of life. It's what gives you purpose. It's what allows you to have a happy life, even though it does probably give you a little bit more stress. You're forced to be more selfless and not as selfish as opposed to if you have no kids and you're just focused on yourself. And I do think, I think that the mentality nowadays is to not have kids in these first world countries. And you got these third world countries that are basically producing all the population and whatnot. It's so what they're trying to do here sounds like in Bangladesh is delay the age when in reality they might need the childbirth rate where it is, because that's what grows economies. It's what grows society. More minds are better than less. That's just how it is. Let's continue. It's these kind of efforts that make it more likely girls will continue in school and engage in productive jobs, reducing child marriage. Talking about climate is confusing, casually incorrect, and diverts important resources away from more effective interventions. A similar argument can be made for another challenge often linked to global warming, malaria. In this case, the science is unambiguous. I don't know why I can't pronounce that. Unambiguous. Rising temperatures mean that malaria-carrying mosquitoes can become endemic in more places, but looking mainly to global warming policies means missing the most important levers of tackling malaria. Malaria is a consequence of poverty. The worst affected are those poorer households in rural areas with less ability to purchase mosquito nets and treatment. Focus on what we could achieve in the future through global warming policies takes our attention away from what we could accomplish. I always say that with we do this constantly with fossil fuels and oils and coal. It's like people are constantly like, we need to burn less. Okay, but how many people are using that for electrical, for heat, for cooling down, for survival almost nowadays at this point? We're weak nowadays. We use it for basically survival. And so we use that stuff, and then these people, they could use more malaria treatment and less worried about that's not their concern. Right. Over the past 15 years, more than 6 million lives have been saved from malaria. 6 million lives. This didn't happen because we cut CO2 and managed to marginally change temperatures. If climate policies like Kyoto Protocol has been fully enacted, temperature reductions would have saved just 1,400 lives from malaria each year at a price tag of about 180 billion a year. That sounds like something the U.S. would sign up for. I don't think we should save money. I think we should just let's just spend it. And then, we'll funnel some money back to ourselves through whatever means necessary. That's how it works. By contrast, just 500 million spent in 1 year on direct anti-malaria measures such as mosquito nets, sprays, and treatment could save 300,000 lives. I completely agree. This is where I feel like I am more of a humanitarian. I believe in saving lives over a planetarian where I think the world's going to end. I just really don't think that. None of this means that we should ignore climate change, but to respond properly, we need to stick to the facts and maintain a sense of perspective, avoiding tenuous connections and ineffective solutions that ultimately divert resources away from fixing the real problems. 2017, Mr. Lomborg. I thought that was a good article. Look, it's a little bit older. Bjorn Lomborg. Okay. This is that type of article. It didn't give the examples I would have given, but it's kind of how I feel about climate change. Should we? I'm more of like a type where I hate pollution. Look, the dirt floating all around. It like almost makes me sad when I'm driving down the road. And if you see like litter just in the center divide or whatever, yeah, it's just like, man, so disgusting. Do we really need to do that? It's bad enough we use the stuff. We're walking by, we're driving by, we're just leaving the stuff there. When I'm in parking lots, I see trash, I pick it up. I'm that type. I don't like that type of stuff. But you start talking to me about climate change, about certain things like this, I'm just like, buzz off. You know what? Buzz off, because you're virtue signaling. You're saying that what you're going to do is going to save more lives when it's proven that what I suggest we spend the money and give our attention to would actually save more lives. And I just think that we should have that discussion rather than, is there climate change and what's going on? I just think we should be like, you know what? Where should our attention go? We only have so many people, so much attention. Let's divert that to a positive means for all of humanity. And with that being said, like I said, if I earned your subscription, please tap it now. Hit notifications if you want. Otherwise, I do like comments. It gives me direction on where to go in the future. And I hope to catch you on the next video.